What is up, everyone? One half of Two Native Sons, Scott Brandt. Shout out to Patrick and Sharon. Hopefully, you guys are on the mend. Hopefully, you guys are feeling better. I know, based on what you've stated with what's going on, it's not fun. So guys, get better. I know you got a lot of people behind you doing a lot of different things that help you out. So I want to give a shout out to my business partner as he's on the mend and whatnot. But it's interesting because how many of you through life have had an opportunity that's kind of slid across your lap, maybe came across out of the blue, and it's one of those things that you look and you're like, oh, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. What if I look crazy by doing it? Or what if I don't write it properly or speak on it properly and whatnot? So I actually wanted to, I'm going to post a comment here with a link to a article that I was co-writer in. There was 4 other individuals within, I think it was 3 individuals from my cohort from my coaching class, and then myself, and then one other coach that Cassie had brought on to write this article. But I was writing it, and so you can take a look at it, give me feedback. As I'm writing it, I'm like, I'd much rather do a live than do a blog or write things out. So I've come to the conclusion that I don't like to write. And so it's funny because with the book that Patrick and I are working on, we're not writing it. We're actually recording it, doing the live. Well, we're not live stream, but we're recording it. And then my mom is helping out by doing the transcription, typing it up. And we're actually real close to being done with the book. I think we have one more chapter on that one. So hopefully the beginning of January, maybe the end of December, should be done with it. And it should be out for download, and then going different routes with the book and whatnot. But it's one of those things that I look and really look at the situation. And Cassie had asked, hey, who would like to help write within this article? And I was like, I don't know about that, but whatever, let me go ahead and do it. So she wanted to get it put out today, which she did. But then the funny thing is I was sitting there and it was like Monday, and I was like, I got to get on this because I know she's talked about wanting to get the article out. And so I think it was about Wednesday that I finally got around to it, and probably about 35 minutes worth of writing just to sit down and focus on writing it and whatnot. But it's one of those things that you just never know with what's going to come across your way, across your lap. You may have the ability to do something that maybe pushes you outside of your comfort zone. And so I would highly suggest, if you have that opportunity, to grab it and run with it. Start swinging the bat. You just never know what may come out of it. And so it's funny because one thing that's really been coming up in regards to some different things with avenues, with income streams, or just getting your thoughts out there. For me, it's been a lot of newsletters. And so watching different YouTube videos and just hearing different opportunities that are taking place with the world of newsletters and what you're able to do with typing or writing out a blog or a newsletter. And people are paying for that content. People are paying for that information. So it's very interesting how things will slide across. It's kind of the same way with how Two Native Sons kind of came into fruition was sitting there doing an exercise, sat down and talked to Patrick about 2 hours after I had done the exercise. And one of the experiences I had written down was writer. And so now I look at this and did the blog and whatnot. But Patrick's like, hey, have you thought about writing a book? And I was like, you're the fifth person that's brought that up and asked me that question. And so just very interesting. Decided to swing the bat and jump on. And so Two Native Sons really started with, let's write a book. And now I look and kind of a little bit about everything that we're doing with Two Native Sons and whatnot, and the vision and being able to do different things. It's just one of those things that you just never know. And I've talked about it before too, is if you're looking at starting a business, I highly suggest partnering up with somebody that you trust, that you have that relationship with, because it's easier to get through the tough times when you have a partner. Because I was talking to Patrick, I think a couple of days ago, and just talking, and I told him, I was like, you know what, you heal up, you do what you need to. I got you. We'll get everything worked out on the back end. And it was just great to hear that he's like, hey, appreciate that. Appreciate you doing that. And it's the power of the collaboration piece. It's the power of coming together, working together. And it's one of those interesting things because I believe it's the Buddha and the Badass by Vishen Lakhiani. He talks about the idea of idea sex. And you're like, did he just say idea sex? Yeah, I did say that. But it's coming together, and you have individuals that have different ideas, and they come together and they start thinking about a bigger picture. And then those ideas come together to formulate a brainchild, or ends up expanding out to something larger than what you had originally thought with your own ideas. And so it's the power of the collaboration piece. And so I know within Colorado Springs, with our sponsor being Tabalo Creative Cuisine, Jasper is working on doing some different things, bringing people together, and we'll be live streaming in regards to what we're looking at doing, talking to small business owners, having them talk about their stories and what they're going through right now with the mandates, with COVID and everything else, and being able to share those stories with the public and helping people understand and see what's going on. So it's just one of those things that being able to go about and working together and collaborating is a very powerful thing. We got Garrett here making a comment. Let's see. Partnering doesn't always mean co-owner. Masterminds are a partnership as well. Collaboration is such a powerful force. And that's true, Garrett. I know through different things that we have read, through different books and whatnot, that mastermind of the ideas coming together is a beautiful thing. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we have to understand and look at, is the aspect of the mastermind piece, and ultimately not being scared to share our ideas, but to come together and brainstorm and potentially have a very large idea sex going on and whatnot. But it's just one of those powerful things of the masterminds. And so I know through Patrick, one of the books that he's really big on is Think and Grow Rich. And Napoleon Hill does talk about the mastermind piece. And it's unique because with the mastermind, you can have it in several different formats. You can have a seminar, you can have it in workshops. So mastermind, there's several different ways to have a mastermind and whatnot, but it's the power of finding people that dream big, think big, and ultimately not being scared that your idea may be stolen, because that's the thing. Ideas can be imitated. Everything that we see can be imitated, but ultimately what really separates you and your story from everybody else is your story. And so I think that's the biggest thing that we have to understand, is each of us have a message. Each of us have a story to share. And that's what separates everyone from everyone else, is a story that we have to tell. And so we can't be scared not to share the story. But it also comes to the point where we have to be vulnerable and transparent and be open to share those stories with other individuals, because you just never know what may take place, your story, how that's going to impact another person, based on what you went through and what you overcame. That could be the one degree of change that somebody needs to go and do something different, do something big. So it's one of those things that we can't be scared to share our story. And then Garrett's Think and Grow Rich Mastermind Chapter 10. Oh, there we go. Scarcity versus abundance. And I know right now that scarcity versus abundance is something that I know Garrett's huge on right now within his group that he has in his Dr. G page on Facebook. That's what he's been really focused on lately, is that scarcity versus abundance. And I think it's a powerful thing. And I think that's why Garrett's really big on focusing on that aspect right now, because of what's going on. And I think it comes down to the fact that we really have to take the time and look and be grateful for what we have, because what you focus on is what's going to grow. And so if you are focusing on the lack of whatever, it's going to grow. And so you may be at a point where you're like, why is XYZ taking place? Well, what are you focusing on? Where's your energy going? And what is it focusing upon? And so it's also the idea of stacking thoughts. And so if you're constantly stacking negative thoughts, you're going to start attracting the negativity, and that's going to come into your life. And it's not a good thing to have the negativity starts coming into your life, because then it just grows and you get angry, you get upset. And so you've got to be mindful about your thoughts. You've got to be mindful about what you're stacking, and what you're focusing on. And so that's another aspect too, is doing an audit to see who you're surrounding yourself with, the individuals that are closest to you. You've got to look and say, okay, how are they thinking? How are they speaking? Because that can feed into your life too. And so it's an internal thing that you have to start with. You've got to start with yourself, but your external world and what you're allowing to come into your mind can also impact that internal peace for yourself. And so you've got to do the audits, and you've got to be mindful, and you've got to look at who you're surrounding yourself with. And I think that's interesting for when I look at the idea and the growth of Two Native Sons, the individuals that we're surrounding ourselves with, and just their thought process, their ideas, how they see the world, how they look and view different things and whatnot. It's a matter of what we're doing as individuals and what we're doing, working on our mindset, working on the internal piece. And that's getting pushed out, and it's attracting those individuals that are on the same wavelength, on the same thought process. And so it's the power of the internal piece. It's the power of your mindset, and it's the power of what you tell yourself. And so it's interesting. It is very interesting. It's something that is very powerful, but it has to really start with yourself. You've got to do the work and whatnot. And so, like I said, it kind of goes back to the whole don't miss out on opportunities, because you just never know. And it's one of those things of taking the time to really stretch yourself and push yourself, because life truly is on the other side of your comfort zone. Life is truly going to take place once you push past the limitations that you have, once you push past your comfort zone that you've built, and you've pushed past that box and you've gotten out of the box to see the bigger picture. But it's not easy work, and it can be tough because now you're challenging the status quo, and you're challenging those parts that you're used to. And the reason a lot of people don't do it is because they don't know what's on the other side, and it's not comfortable. And so it's that comfort factor that individuals like to be known. It's the conformity, and it's the normalcy that they look at and whatnot. And so it's just a powerful thing when you can push past your comfort zone, and you can get past those boundaries and those limiting beliefs that you have put on yourself. But it goes into regards of who you're surrounding yourself with, but also what are you feeding your mind? What are you doing? Are you taking the time to read? Are you taking the time to grow your mindset, grow yourself as an individual? Or are you spending time on things that aren't going to benefit you and are not going to stretch you and push you and force you to level up? And so it's one of those things. It's very interesting and whatnot, but wanted to share kind of what's taking place for me, having to stretch myself, push myself out of the comfort zone. And that would be in regards with the article that I was part of, being able to co-write and whatnot. And so if I can do it, everybody says this, which is funny. If I can do it, you can do it. But ultimately, I'm also one of those individuals that when a challenge comes up, it's like, okay, yep, let me go swing the bat. I'll figure it out as I go. And that's kind of how this article has come about, is I just swung the bat, went with it, and said, here we go. But I look at it too. I was talking to Garrett earlier tonight, and it's part of the journey. It's part of things that I'm looking at, things that I'm considering. And it just lines up with that piece to get me ready for that next piece of the journey, the next level. So just wanted to share and opportunity just to look at something different in regards to love languages. And I know I've talked about that a little bit in regards to the Journey Beyond Divorce podcast. That myself and Miriam run with our journey after going through divorce and where we're at and whatnot. So Garrett said that was a great article, by the way. Awesome job. Appreciate it, Garrett. Always great to hear kind words. But I think it's also one of those things too, that if there are critiques, if there's maybe something different, way to look at it differently and whatnot, you can share that too. Don't be scared to share those critiques, because the only way we grow is really the challenges and whatnot. But this was a little bit of a challenge, pushing me past my comfort zone. But like I stated, start of this video too, the live, was I have figured that I don't like writing. I would much rather do the videos, but I know that the videos are another opportunity through vlogging and whatnot. So different ways, different things and whatnot. But just wanted to share a little bit of things that I'm doing outside of everything else. So, but other than that, appreciate you guys, appreciate your time. Any aha moments that you took away from this video, this live, share it in the comments. Would love to hear your takeaway. And like I always say, if you have something in your heart, your spirit, your mind, and you just don't feel like there's anybody there that's supporting you, reach out to myself, reach out to Patrick. You can reach out to Garrett, individuals that comment on the lives, reach out to them. I know that there's a lot of great individuals that are very drawn and passionate about helping other people out. And it does come down to the fact that if you feel like there's nobody there for you and you're on your own island and you don't know what to do, reach out to us. Ultimately, sitting down and talking is going to help you reach those higher levels. It's going to allow you to have somebody outside of your normal circle that can look at it from a different perspective, ask different questions, and get you to really think and look at things differently and whatnot. So don't hesitate to reach out. And also the other fact too is if you're looking at it and you feel like it's a sign of weakness that you have to ask for help, you know what? That's not a sign of weakness. To stay strong, you have to ask for help sometimes. And so it's one of those things that don't let the fear hold you back. Punch the ego in the face, tell it to sit down and reach out, because there's greatness in you and there's a lot of potential inside of you. But sometimes you need somebody to be there to extract it from you and pull it out of you, because you've been at a point where you just are stuck. And so you need somebody that's going to be there to help push you and help you level up. But you got to remember too that you're the hero of your own life and you've got to go do the work. Individuals like myself are just there as a mentor, as a guidepost, but ultimately you know yourself best. You have the most experience in your life. And so that's where it's part of your hero's journey, and you are your own hero. You've got to do the work. Don't be scared to do the work, because it's going to help you and it's going to force you and it's going to help you level up and whatnot. So again, thank you guys for your time. Anything that you took away from the video, would love to hear in the comment section. Leave a comment. Other than that, love you guys. I'll catch you guys later. All right. Peace.